Welcome to day one of E3 2018. I'm Tristan Jung, and I'm joined by the rest of the Viewport team, Albert Corsten.
Hey.
And Alex Nestor.
Hey there.
This is our first live event that we're actually covering, and we're here to provide coverage on all the press conferences during the event, and we'll also be uploading a video, which you're watching, with our opinions on each day. Today's day one, June 9th. It's the beginning of E3, and as with most E3s, it's a bit of a slow start. We've only had one press conference so far, and I guess it's one of the more quiet ones leading up to the event. We had EA today.
EA's like that weird, I don't know, man. They're weird, okay? They start Saturday morning and everyone's hyped for E3. And most years, they don't bring too much hype. So then there's just this whole day, all Saturday afternoon and then all Sunday morning because Microsoft doesn't start until noon. That we're just E3 started, right? Right, guys?
Yeah, I think EA's kind of self-aware of that, though, you know? They know what we're expecting them to have, and they know, too.
Yeah, but if they have a whole day to themselves, bring the hype, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, the hype is at the event. You saw their EA Access Lounge. It's 3 stories. They got a roof deck.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
They have 100 hours of streaming.
They're hiring. They are hiring, all right?
9 months of planning went into that deck.
Oh, God.
I mean, yeah, I think, the first few days, first day, people are coming into LA. They're building up their hype. And I think a lot of the actual fun stuff is actually happening in person right now rather than through the press conferences. So,
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Are you going to blow your load on day one and have Nintendo present? That's not going to work.
EA's there to ease you in.
So, yeah, this year we had the return of EA Play. That's what EA names their press conferences, mostly kind of alluding to the amount of gameplay that they try to show off, but not really. And this year was not really different from any other year, I guess. We started off, I honestly think the coolest part was the weird AR 3D Anthem intro that we got.
That was the coolest part for you, the whole press conference?
Yeah, and then it was kind of downhill from there for me, to be honest. But they did jump straight into it. Right after the intro, they brought out Battlefield V, which we were all waiting for. What do you guys think? They went through a lot of features. They went through single player, no loot boxes, battle royale, and then we got a little snippet of a trailer at the end.
Battle royale. Woo!
I don't think we made it 10 minutes in without a battle royale being announced.
You didn't make it 5 minutes in.
I don't know. The crowd there even kind of met it with a mixed reaction. I think some were saying no and some were going, oh.
Can you imagine being the guy that was presenting? And he's like, how are they going to take it when I say battle royale?
I don't know. I feel he was kind of taken aback when he got that response. I don't know what he was feeling at that moment, but I don't know. He looked a little shell-shocked when he was saying that. But yeah, to be honest, the Battlefield 5, I guess, trailers, we could say, extremely disappointed. They really showed zero gameplay footage whatsoever. They just briefly touched upon kind of some gameplay mechanics that they've added. You can move weapon emplacements by towing them with a tank. You can just drive a tank through walls and it'll start destroying them. Vaulting through windows apparently is now going to be a thing, like ninja jumping out. I don't know.
They already had vaulting in Battlefield 1.
Right, exactly. But I think they're just doing it more crazily or something. I don't know why they said that as a feature, but yeah, there was nothing to be shown. No real multiplayer footage or anything like that. Not even really single player. The single player will be covered during Xbox, so we'll have more info then. But Battlefield single player, I don't know.
I think they screwed the pooch, man. I mean, I honestly would have been fine if they did a Battlefront 2 thing that they did last year.
Yeah.
Just put 64 computers and let's just watch a match.
Yeah, just get Snoop Dogg out there, my boy Golden Boy, just on the mic saying things.
Yeah.
They need to show something, and with the really poor reaction the original release trailer got, they needed to put something better, I think, on stage.
I thought it was kind of a weird 180 that they did. 360, if you will. The initial trailer was very arcadey. It was like fun. There were weird things happening, jeeps falling out of the sky. And then like this new trailer was very dark. Rip the man who got chopped into pieces by the airplane engine. But I felt, I don't know if they were taking the feedback or if this was their intention all along. It felt a little bit different. I think I'm a little more relieved now. Obviously, I'm not fully sold on it yet due to what you said with no gameplay, anything like that. But I feel a little bit better than the initial reveal trailer.
Sure, I can feel that. They do seem to be, I guess they gave a sneak peek of the single player that we'll be seeing later on. It does seem like they're taking a more serious tone to that, at least.
See, this is my like weird. They started it off with, you have so many questions, and they literally answered none of them, other than you'll see it tomorrow at Xbox.
Yeah, I really got no feeling that they took any feedback they got from their original announcement trailer release. I don't think they did anything to actually respond to those questions.
And like, if you're going to, it's your game, right? So, as in like, it's EA/DICE's game. So why would you not save the flashy cool trailers for the Xbox press conference tomorrow and do the deep dive into your own game during your own press conference?
Yeah, it feels like for one of their biggest games, they just completely brushed it over, really. It just, you got the gameplay sneak peek trailer for single player, and then it just cut to FIFA. Alright.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen, and I saw the multiplayer gameplay trailer that people revealed later, and the game is looking great, but I think they just botched it at the press conference.
Yeah, I don't know why you would cover the single player for a Battlefield game. Or not even really cover it. Everyone wants to play the multiplayer, so why not just show that instead?
But it's Nordley's war story.
Yeah.
And we get to learn untold stories of heroism.
Tomorrow, not today.
Tomorrow at the Xbox conference, so today we got nothing.
Yep. And I mean, I don't know if you guys seen, there's no loot boxes or premium passes, but there's still 5 versions, or not 5, but there's 3 versions of the game, I think, you can buy on Origin. And if you buy like the most expensive one, you get access to the game a week earlier than everyone else. So they're still doing the pre-order stuff. But honestly, I'm fine with the pre-order stuff. I mean, if you really want to play the game, sure, you can charge a premium for it. As long as it doesn't affect the game in the long term, which it won't.
So, Polygon actually did report that there's going to be 2 types of currencies in game.
Oh boy.
One, it's like similar to Siege, where there's a premium currency used to buy cosmetics, and a secondary currency that they called grind currency. That's not the best name.
You have to grind.
Literal grind.
Yeah, and that will be used to buy things. They didn't really go into detail, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, just my feeling is I'm pretty excited for Battlefield 5, but once again, not the best way to show it at your press conference.
Just like their segue, we're going to segue right into FIFA 19.
What a segue.
I love that. It just immediately went into the next trailer. They didn't do anything.
They announced a UEFA Champions League tournament mode coming out on... The game's coming out on September 28th? Yes. And there's going to be a lot more free content for FIFA 18 due to the World Cup, and there's a limited trial coming out as well. Did you guys have anything about FIFA?
Dude, I don't play FIFA, man. But, cool for those who play FIFA, I guess.
So after that, we had kind of like 2 non-games, more of EA services. One is that they're going into cloud gaming, which is what a lot of other companies are also trying out. And they announced Origin Access Premier, which is a upgraded version of their Origin Access subscription model. It lets you play all the new PC games. It launches this summer, but I don't think they have any pricing details just yet. What do you guys think about these two? What do you guys think about this 2-tier model that they're going with?
All right, I gotta bring up cloud gaming first of all.
Mm-hmm.
He kept saying it's like the trend of the future.
Yep.
It's like you can't like do the latency stuff. It's just too much latency. Like, even if you have the fastest internet connection everywhere, you still have locational latency, right? So if you live in Alaska, you're never going to be able to use the service, because unless they build a server farm in Alaska, which they're not going to do. Not that I live in Alaska, but I just can't work with the cloud gaming, man. I don't think it'll be a component of gaming in the future, but I disagree with him when he said him being CEO of EA, where he's like, it's the future of how games are going to be played. You can play anywhere. And it's like, no, because other than outside of your house, Wi-Fi isn't that amazing that it's going to be able to do cloud gaming.
Alex, any thoughts on the cloud service?
Not anything major. It's just, yeah, I see it largely as still as a gimmick. As Albert stated, there's just not really the infrastructure at the moment to really support a streaming service that you can just quote unquote take games anywhere and play them. It's just not a reality at all. It sounds good, but that's all.
And then, no matter how good your system is, there's always going to be latency. You can't. It's a physical thing of the internet. There's latency. So even a single player game will have latency in it, and that just sounds horrible.
Yeah, input delay would potentially be fairly large depending on your location.
And there's a reason why all of the current cloud services that have been attempted have all failed. So there was OnLive back in the earlier this decade, which bombed. And then, was it PS Now is their cloud streaming service?
Yes.
And everyone I know who I've talked to just hates it. They're like, too much latency. It's not, like, I'd rather just buy a physical copy or digital copy and play it.
Mm-hmm.
NVIDIA also has a streaming service. I think it's closed beta right now. I've heard that one's okay.
Okay.
I believe Square Enix also has their own service. I've not really heard any opinions of it, though.
I mean, there's going to be the new Resident Evil on Switch, which is Resident Evil 7 on Switch, which is going to be cloud streamed.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the games as a service model you can't just, he talked about TV and movies. He's like, oh, Spotify, music. It's like, well, yeah, that makes sense, because it's like stuff that only streams from your server back to your device versus, okay, if you're playing a game, I need to send stuff back to the server. And then it's like,
Right. They require no interaction from you once you've set it to go.
Like, and like, if you're buffering, right, in a movie, all right, the quality will drop a little. If you're buffering in a game, what happens, right? Mm-hmm. Does the game just freeze?
Next, Origin Access Premiere. What do you guys think about the 2 levels?
I haven't seen prices yet, but, honestly, if you love
bad games.
I mean, it comes with the new launches. That's the biggest thing, I think. I think if you play a lot of new games and you like what EA puts out, like you play all their sports games and things like that, especially with Madden coming out on PC now.
Yep.
I think it's a great deal. I don't see anything wrong with it.
So the price for Origin Access is $5 a month or $30 a year. And Origin Access Premier is $15 a month or $100 a year.
Oh, dude, that's super good deal then.
Yeah, it's a really good deal. If you love EA titles, then yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
Alrighty. Next, I'm here in the audience with Alex.
Oh, hey Tristan, what's up?
What are you doing here? Just watching our E3 coverage?
Oh yeah, I love games and just looking at them, so yeah.
Anything you want to announce to the crowd over here?
Well, it's kind of hot outside.
Well,
You know what else is hot? Star Wars hot.
Star Wars is pretty hot. That was the weirdest thing ever. Vince Zampella was just kind of chilling, and the host kind of went up and asked him if he had anything to say, and he just name dropped their new game. That was about it.
Jedi Fallen Order. It's coming out holiday 2019. That's about all we know.
Takes place between episodes 3 and 4.
Right. The dark times, apparently.
And you'll get to use a lightsaber.
Yes, we have confirmed you will be able to hold a lightsaber. You will be playing a Jedi.
That whole interaction was the most awkward bit I've ever seen.
They were like, guys, coming up on stage is too mainstream. We need to announce our game a different way. And it just, I don't know, man. I mean, props for trying something, but ugh.
Even then, was it really even an announcement other than acknowledging it exists? They couldn't tell us anything about it. Vince didn't say anything other than when it occurs in the Star Wars lore.
I'm gonna be honest, if they have no promotional material at all, like not even a title logo, this thing's getting delayed. I think EA's expecting them to get it out holiday 2019, but I'm pretty sure this thing's getting delayed. Yeah, although Respawn does have a good track record of releasing things on time, so we'll have to see.
And making good games.
And making good games.
That's a second bonus, yeah.
Yeah, other than that, we don't really know much else about this thing, but I thought it was cool. A little. At least like the game itself, not how they revealed it.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool idea. If it's kind of like the old Jedi Academy games or something like that, it could be pretty fun, but again, don't know anything about it.
And then after that, we jumped into the better Star Wars game. We had someone, I forget who it was, but some man walked out on stage and Battlefront 2, Swedish man. Battlefront 2 was in the background, and he started off by saying, we didn't have the best launch, but here's...
Largest understatement of E3 so far.
You know, the funny thing is last year, they literally announced Battlefront 2 saying, we made some mistakes with the first one. And then this year they come out, they're like, we still made a lot of mistakes.
But hear us out. We're adding so much new free content to our existing game. Squad systems, Starfighter mode, sandbox mode, adding in promotional crossover from Solo, the movie, Clone Wars.
I'm hyped for that one. I don't own Battlefront, but this is the coolest thing for someone who doesn't own it that would bring me into buying Battlefront 2.
Yep, so they've announced Geonosis as a new map that they're making. It's going to be the largest map ever in a Battlefront game, they've at least claimed. And then along with that, they're bringing some of the cool heroes that we've expected from that kind of era. General Grievous, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Count Dooku, and of course Anakin Skywalker.
Who will do his voice is the real question.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, is who's gonna do the Dooku. So I guess a couple of these characters I would have expected to already be in the game, but alright, at least we're getting them.
After that, we kind of got into the sweetest, cutest segment of the entire conference. The two indie games that were announced. One of them being Unravel 2, and the other one being Sea of Solitude. Let's do one at a time, I guess. Unravel 2, or even Unravel in general. The director, oh my god, every time he goes on stage, I get nervous.
He's just so adorable when he's on stage. He's just nervous to be there. I think he was a bit more composed this time around. He's a bit more used to it, but yeah, I don't know. It is good. And the game looks alright, to be honest. I like the mechanics that they added. Now you have a second yarn buddy you kind of are bonded to, and you can just solve puzzles that way. Either single player or co-op, so that's a good touch.
Yeah, I like the whole, you confuse the two characters together if you're playing alone. It has been confirmed that it's local co-op, so Albert, we can't play it unless I go over.
Why?
This game has a feature that Albert loves very much. It's the Shadow Drop feature. It just came out today.
Yeah.
Alright, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think that at the beginning of the demo, they had a little mishap where they had to open a debug menu to go to a level? Do you think they did that on purpose to ruse us, to make it like, oh, this game's still in development, guys? I feel like it was on purpose now.
200 IQ development play. There we go. I like it.
Like, they've rused us, I think.
I don't think EA's at that point. Like, they're not playing the 5D chess. I think that's a legitimate mistake they made.
They just loaded the wrong level.
Yeah.
Alright, either way, I think it's cool. This game has good music, and I like the art style. I could play it with a friend, but yes. I wish they would have online. That's my only complaint. Now that Tristan brought it up.
Yeah, they could have done something like the Treen series. Just kind of do a co-op that way. I think that would work out pretty well, but...
Yep.
Well.
Hey, it's just
missed opportunity.
Just one Swedish man working on it alone.
I also don't think it's one man, but okay.
It's one Swedish man's vision.
There we go.
Next, we had Sea of Solitude. We had a German developer, and she kind of talked for about 5 minutes, and they were just showing a loop in the background, and all of us got really, really confused. Like, is this game being announced right now? Is it being made right now? Is this gonna drop today? But it was a very heartfelt intro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's another one of the super small indie devs that's been picked up by EA. The soul hasn't been sucked out of them yet, so they're still kind of aspirational. But honestly, I thought the visuals of the game were pretty eye-catching. The graphic design's pretty nice, kind of colorful. But then the kind of dark and mysterious characters, they have kind of this unsettling, feathery approach to them, and they look all demonic, kind of.
I like the tone of the game. It reminded me a lot of, what is it, Senua's Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, where that game deals with like mental illness and depression. And this game sort of has the same vibe going with it. They described it as the main character Kay feeling darkness and anger and becoming a monster. And she's trying to better figure out herself and why this is happening so she can become human again. I feel that's a really cool premise, and I like the art style, like Alex said.
Sorry. Sea of Solitude, become human, right?
Also, they said like Jomei, and then I don't know if it's because the developers Jomei Games or whatever. But then since the person who came out is German, she said Yomei, so I don't know if it's Jomei or Yomei.
It's Jomei. It was on the title card.
Okay.
But you know how they pronounce it in German. So
early 2019.
Yep, early 2019.
Around the corner. Just one thing to note: this EA indie publisher group, they actually don't take any money from the developer studios, from what I've heard. So even if you hate EA, you should still support these indie devs.
You mean they don't take a cut of the profits?
Yes.
So do they just fund it out of the kindness of their hearts? Or do they just publish it? Do they just publish it?
Yeah, they just publish it.
They give them like press and things like that.
Yes. So that's why all profits made from EA originals go back into the hands of the studios making them.
I mean, either way, even if they did take profit, it's still an indie studio, right? I don't see why you shouldn't. Just because they're backed by a publisher, I think shouldn't. If it's a good game, it's a good game, man.
Next, we fade to black, and then we have NBA show up for about 2 minutes. The Madden show up for about 2 minutes. Did you guys have anything to say about these games?
I might get Madden on PC because my roommate loves Madden. That's about it.
Yeah.
Also, it has the new Seahawks player who has one arm, and he was in the trailer.
Oh.
He only had one arm.
Huh. I think I missed that.
It was like a really quick flash.
I see.
But people were wondering when he got drafted if EA is going to have to make a whole new player model just for him, and it looks like they did.
There you go. The personal touches. I guess all I can say is the trailer was lit.
Yeah, Albert, you're saying that it sounds like a Battlefield game with all the sound effects.
Yeah, like they were like tackling. It was like da-da-da-da-dung. And I was like, "This you could if you were to close your eyes and I were to give you this, you'd think this is a Battlefield game."
Yeah, they'd throw the football and just made like this deep bass noise for no reason. It was over the top, but whatever.
I mean, it's football, right? Like, what else can you do with it?
You know what to expect from it. They literally announced no new features or anything. They're just like, here's your next Madden game. Have fun.
Please give us $60.
It'll still sell millions.
Yeah,
and we know it.
Next, this is the biggest game of the conference.
Stop.
We had Nathaniel show up from StarCraft 2 fame, and I got really confused because I thought they were making some StarCraft thing. and then they busted out the iPhone, and we knew what's about to happen. Mobile.
Was it an iPhone or was it an Android?
They busted out some mobile phone.
Because it's out for Android, but it's not out for iPhone.
I checked; it's not out for Android yet.
Okay.
You can pre-register. Sorry. So they busted out the mobile phones, and we knew where this was going. We knew this was a mobile.
I called it before they showed any footage. I was like, oh god, it's going to be an RTS. And I was like, what RTS does EA own?
Oh, why?
Command and Conquer.
Albert, I'll let you take it away from here.
What do you want from me, man? What do you want from me?
Take the floor, Albert.
Command and Conquer Rivals. Mobile game. Albert, take it away.
Okay, let me preface it with this. I wrote in our EA predictions piece, which if you read it right now, as soon as this airs, you still might be able to read our insights on what is happening in the next 3 days. But I predicted in my preposterous pieces that EA will revamp Command and Conquer for the new generation.
Oh, it's a new generation, all right.
Good God. Generation, all right. You got it on the head.
The wrong generation was targeted. Oh no, man! This is nightmare fuel. Ugh. I mean, I'm glad. Okay, so there's one silver lining, and that's the franchise isn't dead, right?
Okay.
Like, think of it this way, okay? I would rather have a crappy Advance Wars mobile game than no Advance Wars for 13 years, alright? So I would rather have a Command & Conquer game just because it shows, hey, EA still knows that this IP exists. And even though it's not something I'm probably ever going to play, this one doesn't look as bad as the other mobile games they've released. I will say that right now. At the same time, I'm probably not going to play it. But, you know, I'm sad, okay? Why are the two RTS franchises of my childhood the ones that torture me the most? Let me just say, though, the trailer was pretty lit. Kane lit. Okay.
Kane lives!
I'm so glad they didn't start me with the trailer, because if they started with the trailer, I was going to think it's a real game. And my expectations were going to be too high.
The trailer was actually phenomenal, I think. It was actually really high quality, high production value, and then, yeah. They show Kane living, and then, yeah, we got
Maybe it's a tease. There's a real one coming out soon.
Yeah, maybe it'll tie into an actual RTS game.
2019, guys. 2019.
Yep, just gotta wait E3 2019 to get an actual game. It'll happen. Yeah, they had a little mock battle kind of thing.
Live on stage.
Yeah.
With shoutcasting.
Yeah.
With shoutcasting.
I don't think I can get used to it yet. Just two people sitting on stage, staring at a phone, playing a game. I don't know. Still awkward to me.
The final game, the actual big boss, big game, big thing, big reveal.
Big boss.
It took up roughly 20 minutes. We had Anthem. It started off with kind of a new cinematic trailer. Then we had a live Q&A session, which I thought was really weird. They talked about story the entire time. And then we had a hot mess of a gameplay session, I guess. Oh, and it's dropping February 22nd next year. There's a lot of features. Did you guys want to go over it? I don't want to talk for like 10 minutes straight.
I mean, I'll talk about some stuff. So there's 4 like mech suits, I guess, if you want to call them that. They're called Javelin. I'm gonna kind of skip over when they talked about the first 10 minutes on how BioWare builds worlds and things like that. I mean, that's cool to hear, and some of the backstory they gave us about the Anthem of Creation and stuff like that. But let's be honest, we just wanted to hear more about what the game was. So I think that the suits are really cool in that you're not hard locked when you make a new character that you have to be one of these 4 classes. And if you want to do another class to make a whole new character, you can just go in a different suit. And voila, you're a new class.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how they do that. If the loot system still works the same way as the original reveal trailer they did for the game was last year. Because that means like you'll have to basically weapon up your other suits. And if they aren't all compatible with the same weapons, then you'll have to, do some extra grinding, but that's not too bad. Adds gameplay. The suits look fairly different from one another. They only really revealed what the Ranger and Colossus does, which kind of tells me that they might not really have much implemented yet for Interceptor and Storm. But yeah, I think it's a really good idea that you only have to create one character, and then kind of like Final Fantasy 14 or something, you can switch jobs on the fly.
The Interceptor looks more like a stealth class, so I relate this game a lot when I was watching it to Borderlands 2, right?
Yeah.
I was like, Ranger, that sounds like, or the Interceptor, which is like the stealth guy, sounds like Zero, kind of like the ninja stealthy. The Storm was like a more like magic ability focused class, so something like
one of the Sirens.
The Siren classes. And then what did we have? We had, I forget the guy's name, the dual wieldy dude.
Salvador.
He sounded like the Ranger, right? Like generalized 1-on-1. And then like there's Axton who had the turrets, but he doesn't kind of fit in anywhere. But I don't know. I think it's a good variety of classes. I think, like, to put in perspective for me, this press conference, although it didn't, like, sell me 100% on Anthem, it kept me interested. So I'm definitely not out of, like, I don't want to get this game. This game looks bad. I'm definitely not sold on it yet, but it's keeping me hooked until February next year when it comes out. And I'm sure details are obviously going to be trickling out over the next 8 months until it comes out.
Right, yeah. It does look a lot better than I was originally thinking it was going to end up being. We'll have to see, though. If they do a skill system like Borderlands, the Borderlands series, I'm all for it. I love that kind of style of shooter game.
Yeah, you like the damage indicators too, like the numbers.
Oh yeah,
damage a little too big.
Combo.
Yeah, I noticed for the Colossus weapons, some of the damage numbers were so large that they basically just covered the enemy damage model and you couldn't see them. But of course, this is probably an early build of the game that'll be fixed by final release.
Yep.
That's actually just debug mode.
Yeah, they need to choose the right level.
You actually can't see the damage numbers in the normal game.
Yeah.
But that said, Tristan did kind of say it, the gameplay trailer, I guess we could call it, just kind of showed random cuts of gameplay. Is really hard to follow, and when it got to the point where it would actually show maybe a boss battle, where we could actually see gameplay that we'd want to see, it just cut off to black.
Yeah, so there was no cohesive kind of story as to what these players were doing. They were just kind of talking, making jokes about hazard fees or whatever, and then it was very incohesive.
Right, yeah, I think we got like a supercut version of whatever gameplay demo is going to be on the actual floor. So maybe in the coming days we'll see content from video creators actually doing the demo.
Yeah,
we can actually have a real. Yeah, we'll have a real collection of what this game's all about.
I'm excited to see just like eventually like someone's gonna, well not probably everyone, a lot of people are just gonna release 30-minute uncut demo of Anthem, of them playing through this whole mission. And that's sort of something they obviously couldn't fit into a press conference. So as you said, it's sort of like this supercut thing.
Mm-hmm.
As for me, no loot boxes. I'm okay with that. Destiny 2 had a pretty bad problem with loot boxes. There's a developer interview. They said there's no PvP in this game, which I'm really confused about.
I like that, honestly.
I guess. I think people are kind of comparing it to Destiny 2 too much. If we see it as its own thing, I guess no PvP is okay. That link I have is now dead for some reason, but also in that article, it said that there's no romance in the story. I don't know why that was a point, but there's no romance.
BioWare, I guess, is the only thing.
BioWare is known for kind of stupid love stories, I would call them.
But overall, I'm still excited. The gameplay still looks a little too heavy for me. Like, all the objects look way too heavy. They move around very slowly and stuff. That's my only concern, but looks to be good. I'll keep an eye out on it.
I like that there's no PvP, because I feel it makes it difficult for game balancers to balance single player versus multiplayer things. And games do different things in this, as in some games take it where they balance the multiplayer separately than the single player. But I feel that takes away from the experience when you jump between the two, because things function differently. So I think just bouncing one game mode, single player co-op works best.
Yeah, or they could always just later implement like a Borderlands 2 style dual mode.
Yeah.
It's not really balanced at all. And
if they're planning to do, quote, years of content for this game, right, they can tack that on.
Mm-hmm.
How about a Battle Royale mode?
Stop. I don't think this game could handle 100. This game looks gorgeous, alright?
Yeah,
I don't know if this game could handle 100 players.
The visuals when they're out exploring the worlds remind me a lot of Final Fantasy 15. It just was really beautiful, actually. Nice color usage and things like that.
Runs on Frostbite, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the whole show. Did we want to kind of rate the show? Did we want to do that?
Let's give it a letter grade. Let's give it a letter grade, alright? So we got A, B, C, D, and F, and then we can do pluses and minuses.
I'll go first. I'll give it a C minus. A lot of the stuff that we were waiting for, either we got really garbage information like BFV Battle Royale or nothing at all. And I think the only kind of redeeming part of the show were the 2 indie games, and that's not really even EA's games.
All right. I'll go next. I'll give it a D plus. There were many negatives of the show. I feel like they literally botched every single way they could have announced the games that people were anticipated for. They didn't show enough gameplay of BF5. The Anthem thing was good. We got a lot of information, but it just didn't come out very cleanly. And then, as Tristan said, the only 2 bright spots for me were the 2 indie games. I'm super salty about Command and Conquer. And then, I mean, just like a lot of sports stuff, which I'm just not too into. And then Battlefront 2 DLC, and it's like, eh.
For me, I have to give it a D plus at best. A lot of just information that was pointless for Battlefield 5. Anthem was one of the few sources of light in the whole conference. The indie games were pretty decent as well. Command and Conquer is just dead to me. I don't know what to say. This was a really boring conference, except for 2 games, basically the start and the end, so.
They didn't even have the... Like, last year with Battlefront 2, they had the whole, like... Stormtrooper army come out. They had the voice actors yell a lot.
But Tristan, she talked about star cards.
Yeah.
But I mean, this year it was just boring.
At the very least, it was boring, but it wasn't cringe like last year's. That's the one shining light it had for it.
Yeah, it's actually true now that I think about it, even though we're wrapping up. EA didn't really do any set pieces or anything this year. Nothing fancy. No drum lines or anything for their games.
Also, let's bring up that the garden chairs in the building, kind of weird, but the lawn chairs. All the seating are lawn chairs, but
I am happy I was not in that theater.
If you're cool, you're in that 3-story party thing, man.
No, she said it was open to everyone.
Oh, okay.
Don't bad talk the Palladium. Did you know Frank Sinatra was there?
All right, I was wrapping it up at this point.
All right, so that wraps it up for the first day of press conferences. We will be back tomorrow with our take on Microsoft and Bethesda. You can check out a highlights article on our website at viewportgaming.com. We'll kind of be putting an objective view on what we just talked about there if you don't want to watch a video. Plus, we're live tweeting all the press conferences, and you can catch us at Viewport Gaming on Twitter. Thanks for tuning in to day 1 of our coverage. I've been Tristan Jung, joined by Albert Corsten.
Kane lives!
And Alex Nestor.
You see that mountain?
We'll see you guys tomorrow.